Good evening, SportsZonians. I am Mike Aglialoro coming to you with Erich Tresler right now. This is a quick little SportsZone minute here, and we didn't really get a chance to do this last night because we had some technical difficulties. So me and Erich are coming here. We're going to do a quick little preview of the 2018 baseball season. Erich, do you have any initial thoughts with the opening day getting set to start tomorrow? What are you looking forward to most? Obviously, you're looking forward to the Yankees. Anything else across baseball you're looking forward to seeing this year?
There's a lot to see this year. I want to see if the Astros can live up to what they did last year. I think they can. They're loaded with young talent, a lot like the Yankees. Red Sox picked up JB Martinez, but not much else outside of that. I think Devers is starting the season hurt, too. So, interesting to see what Boston does. A lot of people are predicting Boston and the Yankees to be like 1 and 2 battling it out. National League, not a lot excites me. And again, I tend to be more of an American League guy. So, but you always want to see what the Nationals, I guess, are going to do. They still have talent. They still have good pitching staffs. You expect them to be pretty good. You want to see what the Dodgers can do. The Giants, went out and spent a ton of money this offseason. I'll tell you what the biggest surprise to me, and I wonder if it surprises you because I've been hearing it the last 2 days. Believe it or not, do you know where the Yankees are this year in payroll?
Yes, I did actually see this. They are 7th in the league in payroll. Yeah.
First time since 1992 they've been that low in the payroll.
Yeah, and here's the interesting thing. I think you guys are at like 167 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, way under.
Yeah. The Mets are only at like 153 if I'm not mistaken. So how does it feel to only have a payroll $14 million above the Mets?
Listen, I think we got a lot of young talent, so not too worried about what the Mets are doing on their side of town. They got to worry about Harvey. They got to worry about keeping their pitching staff healthy and then trying to get something out of those back. Listen, Frazier isn't young. Didn't they re-sign Jay Bruce or something?
Yes.
Yeah, he's not young either. It's not like they got a lot of young talent outside of the pitching staff. So it'll be interesting to see how they come together this year. I think they could be all right. They could be a wild card contender, but I don't see them as a division contender.
Well, I definitely think they have a chance. There's other things I want to talk about, but just to get into this real quickly, I think a lot of things have to break right for them to be able to compete with the division. But if you look at where the Nationals are right now, Daniel Murphy starting the season hurt. The bullpen is still kind of like they have some arms, but it's still kind of a crapshoot at this point. The lineup, to me, is not as solid as everybody wants to think it is. So I definitely think if they get an injury or two here and there, and the big if the Mets are able to stay somewhat healthy this season, I think that could be a closer race than a lot of people would expect. I can't remember what website it is, but a lot of the sites that do the over-unders and, the game predictions, they have the Mets making the playoffs this year as a wild card. I think that could definitely happen. I think the division race, I think it could be closer than a lot of people think, but it's going to be very interesting to see how the Phillies factor into it. It's going to be very interesting to see if the Braves are able to factor into it, because the Braves have a lot of young talent themselves. I think the kid Ronald Acuna, one of the top prospects in baseball, I don't think he's starting the season with the Braves, but you got guys like Sean Newcomb starting the season in the rotation. You have a lot of other guys there. You have the center fielder Ender Infantari. I believe he's entering contract season this year. So they have some pieces, and obviously the Phillies spending the money in Jake Arrieta and Carlos Santana. I'm not saying these guys are contenders just yet, but they worry me a little bit. If things break right, and obviously, Mets are going to wind up facing each team in the NL East 18 times. Anything can happen in those matchups there. The Phillies in the NL East, you know this because it's the same thing in the AL East. Those teams play each other tough. They don't play those games like, But just like your run-of-the-mill games, they play them like they're championship playoff level games. So anything can happen with those. But to go back to what you were saying in terms of things I'm looking forward to this season, you talked about the American League for a minute there, and you brought up the Red Sox and the Yankees. The American League, in my opinion, could be very deep. You got teams like Toronto. Toronto's going to wind up taking a step back this year. You have the teams like Chicago and Detroit that aren't really going to get involved. Kansas City's predicted to be one of the worst teams in the league just based on where the lineup is. But then you got teams like Minnesota that went out and added guys like Jake Odorizzi and Lance Lynn to their rotation, and they have a young lineup. I definitely think Minnesota is a team to watch this season. Los Angeles adds Ohtani, and they add Zach Cozart, Ian Kinsler, and all these different players. They could have their best lineup in about 15 years this season. So you have that. Houston, we'll see if they can make it back. You still have Cleveland's going to be tougher than ever. It's going to be very interesting to watch the American League, though. The National League, like you were saying, I feel like it's a little more cut and dry than the American League. I mean, you have the Nationals and the Mets in the East. You have the Cubs in the Central. Do you buy the Brewers 2017 season? And do you think they could repeat? Obviously, they ended Lorenzo Cain and Christian Yelich. But do you think the rotation holds up so they can compete in that division again?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah?
I think they're going to be a surprise. I think the Phillies, right now, I think they got some young talent. I think the Phillies could be a team that surprises some people this year. I know you were talking about them. I know you go ahead and brought them up yet, but as far as surprises go, I think they could be maybe the surprise team fighting for a wild card, but for the most part, I think you're right. It's going to be, your division winners are probably the Dodgers, the Cubs, and the Nationals, with maybe the Mets, depending on how healthy their pitching staff stays. The Brewers, and who knows? Maybe the Giants. Fighting it out for the wild card.
Yeah. Well, you jumped ahead a little bit, but just to go in there, you look at last season's wild card winners, the Diamondbacks and Rockies. Do you think they wind up doing a repeat of the wild card, or do you think the competition is going to be too overwhelming for them?
No, I just think they're just going to be different teams this year.
Mm-hmm.
I just see it being a different wild card set. That's why I could see the wild card being like I said, Milwaukee and the Giants, or like I said, depending on how healthy the Mets pitching staff can stay. That's how far they'll go. So if I had to throw out a way too early prediction for a wild card, I'm probably going to say the Giants and Milwaukee.
Really? Okay. All right, well, then to piggyback on that, I'll say my division winners. I'll stick with what you said. I'll go Nationals, I'll go Cubs, and I'll go Dodgers. Dodgers are another team, like the Yankees. They got themselves under that 197 cliff with that big cost-cutting trade they made with the Braves. I think they actually kept Matt Kemp in that trade. So it'll be interesting to see if he's able to bring anything to the table for him. But, those will be my three division winners. I'll give you the Brewers. I can say the Brewers as a wild card team. The Cain and the Yelich additions, I don't know how much of an impact the Cain one is going to have, because whenever you give a guy who's predominantly, his power predominantly comes from his speed, and center fielder, speedy guy, you give him a 5-year deal as he's entering his age 30, 31 season. Doesn't always work out good. The Yelich deal, that's the one that really sticks with me, though. I think Yelich's a star in the making. So I'll give you the Brewers. I'm going to tempt fate here a little bit. I think the Mets get that second wild card. I think they're a better team than the Giants right now. And especially with Bumgarner missing at least the first couple months of the season with that injury he had, as long as, and again, this is a big if, as long as the Mets can stay away from the big injuries. I know we talked last week about Vargas going down. They don't really think he's going to miss more than 2 or 3 starts at the most, because it was an injury to his non-throwing hand. So there's that. And I'll tell you right now, the one thing they got going for them, you got Gazelman in the bullpen. Wheeler's in AAA. Lugo is the fifth starter right now. The nice thing about having the depth of the starting pitching right now is one of them falters, Vargas can take the place. If Max winds up faltering, maybe you move Max to the bullpen with Gazelman. That helps the bullpen out a little bit. And then Vargas steps in the rotation, and hopefully he can be kind of a mirror of what Cologne was a couple of years ago. Let me ask you something, though, before we go back to the American League and get predictions on the divisions there. I heard a rumor earlier today that the Mets were thinking about possibly adding Greg Holland, the former closer of the Rockies and the Royals. You buy it at all?
I buy it as a decent move for the bullpen. I mean, why not? Any arms you can add, why not add them? Especially former closers. I mean, I don't see it as a bad move.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how much he commands, because I know one of the main reasons why no one signed him this offseason is the rumor was he was looking for about a 3 or 4 year deal, maybe about $10 or $12 million a season. And I just think that's asking for a lot for a guy with his injury history. If he's willing to take a pay cut and the Mets are able to get him on maybe a 2 or 3 year deal, maybe $8-9 million a season, I think you have to do that one. And that would definitely ease my mind with that bullpen. If you add Holland to what they already have, that could be pretty good. That could be pretty good. So, all right, let's wrap this up. Let's look at the American League. Your division winners, Erich.
I'm going to go Yankees, Astros, and it's the easy pick to say Indians and not go with the Twins, although I agree with you. I think the Twins are going to be fighting. But I'm going to go with the easy ones, I guess. I'm going to say Yankees, I'm going to say Indians, and I'm going to say the Astros.
Yeah, it's like I want to do something different here because it's so rare that you see the same 5 teams make the playoffs in consecutive seasons. But, I mean, when you get down to it, Ohtani is a risk for the Angels, even though full confession, I actually drafted him in my fantasy league. The way he's looked in spring training has not exactly been encouraging, though, if we're going to be honest. So there's that. And guys like Cozart and Kinsler, yeah, they're consistent, but they aren't exactly spectacular. So you have that. I don't know. I mean, division winners, I'll go Indians, I'll go Astros. I'll give you Yankees. I'll say Yankees as the division winner. And I'll go first on the wild card. Yeah, I know it's not going to happen, but I'm going to say Red Sox and Twins are your wild card winners, so it's the same 5 teams from last year. Who you got?
I kind of got to go the same way, unfortunately. I just think, like you said, the Twins, I think, are up and coming. I think they may even battle the Indians this year for the division. As much as I want to say the Angels, just despite the Sox, the Sox do have some young talent and some great pitching, and, it's Vail, and it's just hard to discount them. That's the hardest decision, because I think it's going to be those 3 teams battling it out for the wild card.
Yeah.
And I'll probably kick myself later for doing this, but I'll say the Angels. I'll say the Angels and the Twins.
Well, you know something, you may not, I don't really think that's that radical, because
No, I don't think it's radical, because I think all those teams are going to be in the fight. It's just,
yeah.
like I said, it's going to be a battle between those teams. Listen, I hope that more teams get in the mix. I hope that there are some teams that surprise us. Maybe, I don't know, Texas or, somebody just comes out of the woodwork and it's tremendous, you never know. But I just don't have a lot of faith. I look around, I think Tampa Bay is beat up and they've lost, a lot of arms. And, The Orioles could be a team that are fighting as well if they get. I mean, they got talent.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it never seems to come together with the pitching staff for them. I feel like they got hitters, they got Machado, and they got Adam Jones. They got a decent lineup. It's not a bad team.
Mm-hmm.
It's just every year they end up falling short of expectations. So maybe this is the year they can get themselves in the mix. Toronto, I agree. I think they're a step back. They're just, I don't know. They try, but they just can't get the formula right. Can't get the right team on the field to really make a push at it. Again, I agree. Kansas City, one of the worst teams in the league. So, I think that's what we're looking at. I think not that maybe Seattle becomes out as a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Seattle comes out and has a good year. That AL West could be pretty dangerous with the Angels, the Mariners. I almost said the Seahawks. And then the Rangers and the Astros. I think that could be a really tough division to watch this year. Although I do just think the Astros just have an overwhelming amount of young talent.
Yeah.
I think they're going to end up, winning the division pretty easy. I think it could be a battle between the rest of the teams. So, we'll see who's in the battle for the final wild card spot.
Yeah, I'll say this. You're talking about Oakland. You look at their lineup, the way that guys like Chapman and Olsen came on last year, they could be some budding future all-stars. The trade for Piscotty was pretty good. They have a really good lineup right now. It's just that pitching staff, I feel like it's a little young. I feel like it might be a year or two away from really contributing to them. So I think that could be their detriment. Say this about Baltimore, man. I like the signing of Alex Cobb because you're right. Their starting pitching almost never comes around the way it's supposed to. It'll be really interesting to see. Like I said, I like Cobb. If Dylan Bundy can deliver on the promise of being a top prospect, because this kid was a top prospect about 3 or 4 years ago, and then he got hit with the Tommy John surgery, and he's gradually worked his way back. If he can be anywhere close to what he was supposed to be, you got a solid 1-2 right there. And Tampa Bay, listen, when it comes to Tampa Bay, I never underestimate their ability to find quality pitching in the starting rotation and in the bullpen. But that lineup, you let Charlie Blackmon go, you replace him with Carlos Gomez. Gomez hasn't been very good in a couple of years now, so very hard to bank on that. But, getting back, and the last thing I'll say, as far as the Red Sox go, it'll be interesting. I think you said this earlier. Devers actually is going to be in the lineup tomorrow, Rafael Devers, so he's healthy. How much of the Red Sox season do you think depends on David Price, though? Because to me, that's the X factor of that team right there.
Yes and no, because, as much as he can carry you through a regular season, he just never seems to put it together in the postseason, though.
Mm.
So it's like, what good is he if he can't win when it really counts, you know what I mean? So, I do think that, he's going to be pricey. He's going to have a pretty good regular season. I could see him being at least a 16-win pitcher and, really contributing to the staff behind Sale. It's just, so I think it's hard to not put them in the wild card as well because they're a team that they have young, talent and pretty good starting pitching. So, they're dangerous.
Yep. Okay, man, so that's going to do it for our 2018 MLB pre.
Well, hold on. Whoa.
Okay.
We forgot one crucial part. We didn't pick our standings for where we thought the Yankees and Mets were going to end up as far as record-wise at the end of the year.
You are correct, sir. I did forget that. Thank you for reminding me. All right. Let's do some win predictions here. How many wins would you put the Yankees down for this season?
90. I'm debating. I'm going back and forth between 92 and 100. I'm going to say 93. 93 wins.
So they won 91 games last year.
94. I'm going 94.
94? 94? All right. I'm going to go 92. I can see that they could definitely do more, but I want to see how this team shakes out here. I want to see how that starting rotation could do. Definitely looks a lot better than it did around this time last season. Obviously, got a great bullpen. What more can you say about that lineup? But, let me ask you a question while I think about it. How worried are you about the Greg Bird injury?
Not that worried, because it's just a bone spur. They've been in surgery 6 to 8 weeks. Plus, I mean, we have so many bats up and down the lineup. We don't necessarily miss him right now. As long as he comes back healthy at some point, let's give him a try. I mean, that's just always been the knock on him, though. He can't seem to stay healthy. That's, the best, ability to have is availability, and his has been a little short the last couple of years, so I'm hoping he comes back. I'm hoping, listen, if he comes back and plays like he did at the end of last year and in the postseason, he could be one of the stars of the team. So I'd love to see it, but I can't bank on it. So in the meantime, I'm going to hope Tyler Wade, I don't know, who they got starting?
I think it's Austin, Tyler
Austin, that's it. Tyler Austin, they're starting Neil Walker at second, but that's expected. They were going to start Torres in the minors anyway. Keep that extra year of eligible arbitration and stuff. So the rest of the lineup looks like it should. That's the 2-3-4 is just so scary for any team right now. When you got to go Judge, Sanchez, and then Stanton. That's brutal.
Yeah. Listen, if they play the way they're supposed to, you have a new murderer's row right there, man. What more can you say about that?
And Greg Bird is just like, he's like sprinkles. It's just like the rainbow sprinkles you get on your ice cream, you know what I mean? Like, he's got a little extra touch. You're like, I didn't need it, but it's just nice. It's nice to have. So that's the way I'm looking at Greg Bird right now. I hope that he comes back in 6 to 8 weeks. I hope he's healthy. I hope he contributes. But the one thing the Yankees have is they have some depth this year and can overcome an injury or two. So, we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. All right. Let's get this next part over with. The Mets. I will let you start. Where do you pick the Mets for wins?
That's where I'm teetering. I'm going to say 81 wins. I'm going to say 500. I'm only saying that because, again, I'm 50-50 on them right now. I'm 50-50 because of the health of that pitching staff. Because of the 50, how I'm feeling about the pitching staff, I'm going to go 50-50 with the wins and losses and say 81.
Well, I can't fault you too much for it because I was thinking about this a couple weeks ago. If you think about it the way this team is right now, a conservative estimate is this team can win anywhere from between 65 and 90 games. Honestly. They can win 65 games if absolutely everything goes wrong and we have a year like we did last year where absolutely everybody gets hurt and you have no backups and you're starting guys like freaking Tommy Malone and AJ Wilk and guys you never heard of before, and Chris Flexen starting in the rotation. If that happens, obviously this team isn't going to go well. But then you have the flip side where the rotation is healthy or reasonably healthy all season. Callaway don't have to burn the bullpen arms out by the midway point of the season. Bruce and Frazier are able to contribute. And I got to be honest, I know a lot of people are probably going to think I'm crazy. I don't think Adrian Gonzalez is done yet. I really don't. I know a lot of people have said that his bat doesn't look good over spring training, but to me, this is the most professional and consistent hitter for his career that the Mets have on their roster right now. And I look at last year, I know he went down with the injury, the back problem. The Mets don't have a good history with players with back injuries when you think about it, between David Wright and Neil Walker in their recent history. But I really think Gonzalez is the type of player who's going to be able to compensate for that back injury and put it behind him for at least one more season. I don't think 280, 15 to 20 home runs, 80 to 90 RBIs, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibilities for Adrian Gonzalez there. So when all is said and done here, I'm going to go, I'll pick them as the wild cards. I kind of have, I'm going to say 88 wins.
Well, that's pretty generous, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty generous. I know it's the kiss of death, because I've told you before, I always feel like if I pick my team for good things, only bad things can happen. So I know it's not exactly a good omen, but I really feel like this team, I'm a believer in Callaway up to this point. Obviously, we have to see what he's made of when the season starts, but I really like the fact that they brought him in, who's he's a pitcher's coach. Then you got Dave Island in there. I like the success he's been able to have with teams that had a lot less talent in their rotation. When you look at what he did with that Royals staff, going back to when he was on the Yankees staff in 2009. I feel like we might have the right guys who can work with this rotation. So I'm going to say 88 wins for the Mets.
All right.
Okay. Do you have any final thoughts?
No, just ready for baseball. Let's play ball.
No, let's get it started, man. All right, so that's going to do it for our 2018 MLB preview. We're going to be back momentarily. We're going to look at the NFL.